Today's February 12th, 2019. 2 days it'll be 7 years since I've had a license. I am in upstate New York, 60 miles north of Albany, about 10 miles from Vermont border. I lived in Manhattan from 1997 to 2010, and developed software. And licensed software to a few big companies, Columbia University, Bank of New York, some other companies, and did pretty well, and started a farm on property that is in where I'm at right now, that my parents bought in '71 when they moved us up here from Long Island up to the boondocks. Anyhow, I almost bought a place in Vermont, but my grandmother had passed, and there was a home that was empty that I was running for my folks, and I ended up starting the farm and clearing property. So I grew up on this. My parents bought this 110-acre farm in '71, and they'd rented it out probably in the '80s, here and there, until probably, I don't know, maybe '84. It was never really maintained, and it had overgrown, and it became woods basically. So I spent probably $250,000 clearing property, and putting in water lines and building fence and putting my heart and soul into this, and got Scottish Highlanders. My mother's parents are from Scotland, and it was Horny Hill Farm, hornyhillfarm.com. You can go there and look at the information about the farm. Anyhow, everything was going well. I was selling beef down in Manhattan and Brooklyn, Park Slope, Food Coop in Brooklyn, and a couple of places in the city. And it was just starting to go nicely. It's great beef. It's very lean. My mother had got sick. She was in the hospital for probably 5 months in 2012. 2011 she went in. In 2012 I was coming home from the hospital, stopped at a local pub and had dinner and probably 4 beers, and was coming into Hudson Falls, which is about 5 miles from my house. I had a taillight out, got pulled over, and got a DWAI. And that has what changed my life. So that went down in 2012. We went through court and all that, and I was supposed to get my license back in February 14th of 2013, after all the court and so forth. And I was waiting for it in the mail because I had 60 head of cattle and was pretty much a year without a license and relying on people that I shouldn't have relied on to help me out. It was really hard for the year with the cattle and hay and everything, but I made it through. I got a letter from DMV, and it said that I had to wait another 5 years because King Cuomo in New York passed a emergency DMV regulation saying that if you had multiple alcohol or drug related incidents in the last 25 years, then you had to wait another 5 years. If you have 5 within the last 25 years, you will never get a license again in New York State. or in any other state in the United States because of the national registration thing. So my lawyer didn't know about it. No one knew about this. And I was left with another 5 years without a license with 60 plus head of cattle, moving beef to Manhattan. And I became a target. I became a sitting duck for people in upstate New York to take advantage of. Because when you do not have a license and your driveway is a half mile long and the nearest store is 6 miles away, you become subhuman. You are no longer You're no longer a person. You're no longer a human. You're no longer a man. That's for damn sure. And being single, and I was beside myself, honestly, when it happened. I struggled through it, tried to make it work, and ended up getting conned by a woman who has gone through, which I didn't know prior, but has gone through multiple men that she has conned. She's a narcissist, malignant, covert narcissist, very, very good at her craft, con artist with her kids, and I won't go into the depth, but to the evilness that one would see in movies, really. Well, that messed me up, and I got into that in 2014. Prior to that, when I had my license, I was a very independent person, and everything worked fine. And I have a very good family, and everything was great. But once you need people, when you need to depend on people, and there are a lot of evil people out there. There are a lot of people that'll take advantage of you when you are a sitting duck, when you are vulnerable. Anyhow, the woman that I moved into my house and paid all of her bills and took care of her kids and so forth to help me out because I needed someone who could drive and do things, and I did fall in love with her, and she did kill me, break my heart, and all that stuff. But anyhow, this story goes, here we are, 2019. Just got a letter from DMV after waiting for 4 months that said they needed more information, which I filled out today and sent back in. Now here's the other thing with this new DMV regulation that Cuomo himself did. Cuomo, King Cuomo, that you have to have a breathalyzer in your car for 5 years after this, once they approve you, which I don't even know if I'll get approved after I just sent this paperwork in today. I'm broke at this point. 7 years of trying to keep all this going. I sold all the cows. The woman that totally screwed me over, I won't even go into that. But you are a sitting duck when you are a single person and you do not have a driver's license in upstate New York. This is not Manhattan. This is far, far from Manhattan. And these are different countries. They might as well be different countries. And Manhattan controls what happens in upstate New York. So we live in a very satanic, liberal, Cuomo dictatorship state that is evil, very much evil. And everyone that works for the government, even up here, they take on that evilness. It's very contagious, regardless if they work for DOT or if they work for the prison system. They all think they are I don't know if they think they're gods or if they think they are Nazis or even the police. This is a very evil place. Um, I'm at the end of the rope here. I just turned 51 2 days ago, and I can't. Got the DMV thing. This last thing was just. There's been a couple of things, but that really killed me. So I mailed it in anyways today. It went in. Now, on top of that, so when you're a person in my position and you're a good person and caring person, and the cows are gone now, as I said, but I have this property, I have a nice log home, I develop software still. I'm pretty much a targeted individual in New York State by this point because I sent Cuomo a nasty letter and he sent state police to my house in 2000. Oh gosh, 2000. 2016. He's got the New York State are basically his. New York State police are Cuomo's Gestapo. They do what he says, and no, the judges do what he says here. We need help here. I can't believe this is America, and I can't believe Trump can't do something about the state because it has to be the worst state that there is for this kind of tyranny. Anyhow, so I'm a targeted individual in New York because of this blow up with this nasty woman that really she was propositioning all my beef customers when I was out working on software, and pretty much everyone around me and her children are in on it, and she's pulled the scam I think 4 or 5 times that I know about on men where she's a parasite. She's very good at it, but I made a big deal out of it and put up a sign on the sign where I used to sell beef, and stated some facts about her being the town slut. And everyone in this town, here's another thing, some people that I've known since I was 7 or 8 years old in this town that work for New York State government knew what she was, and I had asked them straight out, what's her deal, because I didn't know who she was, because I haven't lived here prior. I graduated in '86, went to college, worked for an engineering firm, built pulp and paper mills, so I lived in North Carolina and South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama. I lived in Vancouver, British Columbia for a couple of years. I lived in Castlegar, British Columbia for a year. And I basically was gone after high school. So I didn't know who this woman was. These people did. I asked them directly, what's her deal? And they lied to me. And she's got them all under her thumb. She's got this whole town under her thumb. Anyhow, that almost killed me alone. And the other thing is that MGTOW. I've learned about MGTOW through this experience of going through. I'm 51 now. I met her in 2014 when I was 45, 46, whatever it was. And prior to that, when I had a license and I was an independent person, I had many relationships with women from multiple cultures and multiple countries, and never had any issues like that I experienced with her. I'd never had any experience with the court system and being involved in that aspect of the fucked up system that we have where men do not count. The system will believe a known evil woman's lies over the truth of a good man, and they will do everything they can to protect that woman. I wouldn't believe it if I hadn't gone through it myself. Anyhow, I went to South America for like 6 weeks after I sold the cows, and last year I just had to get out of here. I had to get out of this country, and South America is wonderful. I was in Guatemala, I was in Belize, and it was quite an experience. Everything the government tells you, everything the you hear on our media system is pretty much a lie, because it's very nice there and people are sincere. And there's bad people, but there's bad people everywhere. But for the most part, they are real people, much more realer than we have here in America. And that experience was great. And I came back and was ready to start moving on forward from that crazy woman. Cows are gone at this point, and at this point, I was still kind of trying to figure out what the hell happened to me. You wouldn't believe it if I told you the level of evilness. So that was 2018 when I got back from South America. It was like February 2018, and here we are 2000, so like a year. I was not in good shape when I got back, because as soon as I got back in, New York State Police arrested me because she had called me, this woman, and was confessing her love and saying that I'm sorry, whatever, and I had called her back, and she had there was an order of protection issued by the court. Even she could call me. This is how it works in New York State. I don't know if it works in every state like this, but I guess the people that have the order of protection can call you all they want, but you can't call them back. Anyhow, I did when I was in the airport before I left for South America. So as soon as I got back, they arrested me. And that just was like, what the fuck? That went on all this year, 2018. It was a nightmare to get through it all. The court. I mean, it was just, she basically can lie. In New York State, women can lie on subpoenas and sign that little line at the bottom that says, I swear on order of misdemeanor, says something about you have to, you're swearing to a misdemeanor if you're lying, or something to that effect. I don't know exactly what it is, but she just lied, blatant lies. And I talked to the DA, and I'm like, I can prove she's lying, and they don't want to hear it. They don't care. They do not care. This is really how the world works, at least in America, or at least in New York State. Anyhow, went all through that. Finally got it done, like a week and a half ago or so. And mind you, I don't have a license, so I don't have a lot of options to meet people, because I live 10 miles away from anything, really. I mean, they're 6 miles down the road, there is a Cumberland Farms, which is a convenience store. But there's nothing else around here. There's just farmland, and my driveway is a half mile long. And going through that relationship with that other woman, that pretty much severed all relationships with men that I had, because she is what they call a Jezebel spirit. I don't know if you're familiar with that term, but look it up. This is her, and she actually has, she is a devil. She's a demon, and she would proposition and push everyone. It's like the Adam and Eve thing, where uh, offers them the apple, and she offers everyone the apple. And so basically isolated me from everyone, even though I didn't have a license, which I was isolated enough. And then the friends that I did have, I didn't know. It was ugly, the most awful thing. I mean, I'm living. This is hell. For the last few years have been hell for me. And there's so much more I could tell you, but I'm just trying to lay this on because I don't think I'm going to be here very much longer. So I just kind of wanted to get this on camera. Um, so here's the topper, and I'll leave you with this because I'm going to go in the sauna after this and visit my father, because I'm pretty sure that I won't be here in the next couple of days, and I'm sure that you'll probably see me on the news. But so I met this woman when I was after I got back from South America, that and the court order things, and getting arrested for breaking the order of protection, and I was like, this can't be real. How is this happening? And I was pretty bad shape, and actually I planned to drink myself to death. That was the plan, and I was doing a pretty good job at it. And I met this woman through another friend of mine that I had, this other woman who just by coincidence we met, and she kind of rescued me. She kind of got me straight in a way, because I was on a mission, and so she came and nurtured me and saved me. And I mean, she's got her own issues. She's great. She's got a good heart somewhere in there. But anyhow, so there was a lot of, we she there was a lot of red flags, because I just been through this shit, and I was like, oh no, she wanted to move. Everyone wants to just move into my house, and it seems like that's what men are for. They're either disposable. You have to bring something to the table for a woman. It doesn't matter how good your heart is. That women don't care about your heart. They care about what you can do for them and what you can provide for them. And she kind of moved in, and I got sober with her help, with her being around, because I had no one at that point. And as I got sober, I started seeing red flags of very similar to the what I had just gone through, and so I was like, she wanted to move her daughter in, and I kind of let it happen because I didn't want, I don't know, whatever. I wasn't. She kind of forced it on me, and I finally said, oh, this is not going to work. And I tried to be nice about it and explain it to her, and we did pretty well with that. They just want what they want. They really don't care about what you've been through as a man. Men are expendable, disposable. So one of the things that really attracted me to her, not physically, but on a intellectual basis, is that she's great at writing poetry, and she's had a hard life, and some of it's been brought on by herself, but she had a bunch of she has a lot of great poetry and dark poetry, which tells about where she's been from and been through. And anyhow, well, one of the things that I said, because I was planning on checking out, Um, and I was I was going through like cases of vodka. Not cases, but I would buy 2 cases at a time. And so she had all this poetry, and she had all the stuff that she had written over the years, and this is part of it right here. This is so what I did is because at the point when I said I can't have you move in here, because I was getting sober, and I was realizing that she's dangerous in her own way. But so I said, let's put this together as a book because I can do this stuff and I have the equipment to do it, and I'm good at software, and I'm good at making these kind of things happen. So I said, give me 25 poems, and I think we ended up with 75 or something here. But it's titled Something is Broken in Me. She came up with the title, and it's 35 years of handwritten pieces of my life, and it's her name there. So I compiled this and put it together, and I think we printed 20. I thought we printed 25, but I guess we did 20 of them, and because I wanted her to. She's good, she's talented, but she's broken, as she wrote right there. Something has broken in me. Initially, I thought, well, maybe I'll scan it and we'll put it into words, but then I started reading through this, and if you look at it, this is all her handwritten stuff since she was like 13 years old. And I said, let's just run it with that. And, fired up the photocopier, and I said, just keep on giving it to me. We were going to do 20 pieces. We ended up with 75 because she kept on going through it. So that was something that meant a lot to me to put together for her, because I wanted her to be more than she is. And I'm going to attach this. I'll give you a PDF to this. I mean, there's some pretty heavy stuff in there. But we did that. And then I said, well, you need to, there's no way you can live here with me. This is not going to work. You bring chaos and destruction everywhere you go. This is what you've done all your life. I mean, she has 4 children, which I've met them all, and we get along, great. I mean, they're older. Her youngest daughter, Elizabeth, stayed here for a while, and she's great. She's smart. They're all smart. She's a smart woman. She just had a crazy life, which a lot of it she brought on her own. Anyhow, so she got an apartment, and I've been supportive and been her friend, and we worked, tried to make it as a friendship and work through this, and being alone and single, and not having a driver's license, and she kind of saved my life, and I thought we were attached, and I think we kind of were. We are. I don't think we're not going to be. But this is what brings me to pretty much, this is probably going to be the end of my life here in the next couple of days. But so she was here last Monday, because she calls me a lot for help and advice, and I try to be supportive. I'm always supportive with her, and I'll do anything I can. And my father lent her a car for a week, and I've let her stay here, and I've just done everything I can without having to commit to a relationship with her, because it's not, I don't want to have, trying to have a high level of a consciousness relationship with her and bring her out of her. Women are attached to either material or sex, it seems, and I don't live that way, where I'm trying to, I live at a level of just enlightenment of, I mean, this world is a fraud. We all know that. We're living in some kind of a matrix or simulated uh, environment. 9/11, I mean, everything that we 9/11 started it off. I mean, we all know that was fake, and if you don't know that, then you are definitely in the matrix. So her and I have this relationship where she understands that, she knows a lot of it, and we've had this friendship that we've kind of fixed since, like July, where I'm no longer want her to consider me her boyfriend. I mean, we never really were, but she wanted that to be. And maybe when I was drunk and so forth, that maybe I fell in love with her because she saved me. If that makes any sense to anyone. And I was fucked up, really bad, really bad. Where I had after 6 days of meeting her, I had a seizure in my house because I had been drinking vodka so much. When I met her, when she came over, I had been drinking, I don't know, a half a gallon a day or maybe every 2 days or whatever. A lot of vodka. I was on a mission. And I'm Scottish Irish. Yeah, I'm good at drinking. I'm good at a lot of things. um, so when I met her, and she was like, I'm staying here, and you need to get your shit together, and so I quit drinking vodka, kind of a little bit of cold turkey, I guess, after coming off to drinking a half a gallon a day, and maybe it wasn't a half gallon a day. She'll probably tell you it was if you. But so I started drinking Coors Light, and I'm like, anyways, because I just wanted to kind of be more present, and so started drinking Coors Light. She was staying here. I had a seizure, which they related to a alcoholic withdrawal seizure, where she was here. I was bleeding out of my mouth. I fell on the floor. It was a mess. And she had to call 911, and they came and took me, and I was fucked up. So after that, that was like in April 2018, I think, and so I stopped drinking altogether. I really haven't drank hardly at all. Once in a great while, I'll drink. But I just stopped and started working again and getting my shit back together. And she kind of came back in my life after she got her apartment and got her car. And of course, I don't have a license, as you know. So we've been friends, and it's been good. And her daughter, Elizabeth, says that I make her calmer, that she's than she normally is in relationships with men. Because I don't yell, I don't scream, I don't fight. I'm not a confrontational person. I barely raise my voice unless she really pisses me off. So that leads me right up to where we are, and this is where the end of my life comes to right now. Is that last Monday she was here, and we hadn't been seeing. We talk on the phone a lot. She calls me. I call her when I need support. She comes over and she cooks food, and she washes her clothes, and I rub her head and give her time where she can just relax and chill out, because it's very quiet up here. I live on 110 acres in this woods up here, and it's nice, and there's a 70-inch surround sound system out there, and it's really nice. So we have a good time. And it went really well. It's gone really well. She came over on New Year's. I called her New Year's and wished her Happy New Year's and told her I loved her and I appreciated her. And she was out with her friends, and I was like, that's fine, no big deal, because I don't want to. She's got a lot of people in her life, so. But she's like, I want to come over. So she came over. We had a great night. Then she came over like 2 weeks later. Anyhow, and I do everything I can for her to tell her that she's great without wanting to have sex with her, and not, that's her life has always been about that. Um, and we have been good about that, about talking, and her writing poetry and me encouraging her to write, and talking about how this is all going to end with shit hitting the fan and so forth. Now, she has had a lot more issues than I have had with craziness in her life and crazy relationships and all that, which when she tells me things, I just amazed that people live that way, but I guess they do. I come from a pretty good family, so this losing my license for 7 years has really shown me a whole different culture of people that I normally would have never been around. Anyhow, she came over Monday. She had called me on Sunday. She has Monday off, I think. No, she has Tuesday off. So she called me Sunday and said, well, I was thinking about coming over. And I said, oh, I'm in bed and don't worry about it. And she goes, well, I'm going to come over tomorrow. It's supposed to be nice out. So she came over and we had some drinks, which, I don't, I used to drink every day. I never drink anymore unless I see her. So we had some drinks, and she had been doing some drugs, I don't know, pills that make her very anxious and nervous. And I'm not saying this to be bad, because whatever she does is fine. I just said, wow, you're shaking like a leaf. And I just try to be her friend. So we were having drinks. We were talking about a lot of different things. We were talking about Nicole Tesla. We were talking about Trump and the book about Trump's that was written about a boy named Trump in 1902, I believe, or 1901, about time travel and so forth. So we always talk about, and then there was crazy chemtrails that day. The chemtrails are posted on this page or this channel earlier from that day. So anyways, here it is. So everything was going good. We were having drinks. We were dancing a little bit in the kitchen. I have the big room in the kitchen, or a big room, which includes the kitchen and a killer surround sound. And we were having a fun time. And she went into this. She can be a kind of a. She has a violent tendency, or she can be violent, I guess. I haven't seen the real violence because I don't push her to that, and she started pushing me, because went into the whole thing. Why aren't we in a relationship? Why don't we want to fuck me? Why don't you want to have sex with me? I don't know if those are exact words, but they were pretty close to the exact words. And I said, I just want to have us to be friends and connect, and you are just very important to me. And so she started screaming at me and saying, you're fucking gay, and you must like to fuck boys, and she can be very unbelievably vicious verbally. And she was going off of me, and I was like, whatever, Jennifer, whatever. And her daughter has seen this before, because she did it one time before. This is way back, I don't know, back in June or something. One time I saw this in her, and her daughter was so upset that she left here in a taxi, called a taxi because she was so upset. So, anyways, she was going off on me, calling me all kinds of names, and saying I was using her because I didn't want to have sex with her. I guess I was using her for company or something. So, men, you cannot win whether, if you want to have sex with them or if you don't want to have sex. It doesn't matter because you can't win with women. And so that went on for not long. I don't know, 5, 10 minutes. So I try to calm her down, and she once she gets into that mode, she's in that mode. And then she got in my face a little bit and was almost like pushing me, and I was like, whatever, Jen. So I put down my beer and I went to bed. And I thought she would probably just sleep on the couch because I have this big, huge surround room couch sofa, and sometimes she sleeps out there, and because she normally, when she comes, she rests at the house. Um, so I went to bed, and with the last girlfriend that I had, there was a lot of issues with a lot of white knights wanting to stick up for her because she would tell them all kinds of nasty. I don't know. She's a narcissist that lies a lot, and so I was a little nervous because when I went to South America, my dogs left and went to one of my friends' house, one of my very good friends' house, and she's a woman too. Her name is Jennifer as well, and so she has my Rottweilers and German Shepherd right now. So I have no dogs here. So, anyways, I sleep with a 40 caliber pistol in my bed. I'm actually on my chest most of the time. Yeah, I know it sounds weird for most of you city folks, but whatever. That's the way it is. So Jennifer knows that. I mean, she's taken guns off me before. She knows that there's always a gun next to me when I'm sleeping. So it's usually no big deal. So she came in to the bedroom, and I'm going to end this with this because I have to go to the sauna. She came into the bedroom. I was asleep. I'd probably been asleep for like 40 minutes or so. I don't even know how long. And she had come into the bedroom before bitching at me. 2 times before, like in June, July. I hadn't seen it. It was when she was drinking vodka before. But she had done it before coming in and starting that bitching mode. Because she can be very obnoxiously sometimes. So she came in and she laid down on my right side, right? And I'm left-handed. So I've got the gun on my chest. I know, it's fucked up, right? But this is my life. So she came in and laid down. She knows I have a gun on me. She could have taken it off of me. And she laid down and she propped up a little bit. So she's this far away from me. Yeah, I don't know, maybe, like my hand a couple feet away from me. And she kind of props up. And I knew she was getting ready to bitch at me. And I just didn't want to hear it anymore. So, and all you fucking people, normal people, will think this is fucked up. So I had the 40 in my hand, and I don't know if it's clocked or not, and I don't know if the safety was on, but I just put it up like this, and I just shot the wall, boom, just to get her to be quiet, because I didn't want to hear her bitching. So she put her head back down, and I thought that was it, and we would just go to sleep. Well, she got up, and she went out in the kitchen, and so I followed her out. I'm like, I was just kidding. Didn't want you to bitch at me. And she went into her psycho mode. Now, this is a gun that she has shot 10, 20 times. I mean, she shot every gun in the house, and there was lots of guns in the house. So it wasn't like she was scared of the gun. So then she goes and sits down on the counter, and she's texting someone. And I don't know, she has many guy friends or whatever they are, associates, friends, whoever. And I'm like, really, Jen? You'd have to take, I don't know, maybe she's running on Facebook, who knows? She's big into that Facebook stuff. And I'm like, really, Jen? And then she goes, I can't believe you did that. I'm like, what do you mean? I was joking. I just didn't want you to bitch at me. And she goes, I'm calling 911. And I'm like, do not call 911. And sure enough, she calls 911. So now I have called 911 before when the other girlfriend had 2 truckloads of guys out in front of my house that stole a chain out of my tractor. That I don't know what they were doing, and I didn't want to get into a gun. I didn't want to go out there at that point, so I called 911. They took 22 minutes to get here. This woman calls 911. They're here in fucking. It had to have been less than 5 minutes that they were here. So, of course, there are guns everywhere, and oh my god, it was a nightmare. It was a fucking nightmare. It was a nightmare. Of course, in New York, and then, so they're called the house, and they're like, well, you gotta come out, and anyhow, so of course, I said to her, when she was sitting there calling the phone, I'm like, Jen, are you really gonna call 911? This is a woman that has been conditioned conditioned to the system. She wasn't scared of me. She knew I wasn't going to hurt her. She knew there was nothing. She did it to fucking jab me, because she knows the system is going to fuck me up. And it's definitely fucked me up. So anyhow, they came and I went outside. They handcuffed me. They come to talk to her. She's fucking flipping out. Doesn't say anything to them. And I said it was no big deal. But that doesn't go over well in New York State. Because, so now I got all these charges against me. And this woman that I think it was a test. I think it was like, okay, are we in this or not? Do you want to kill me? Because I actually, in that conversation earlier in the evening, I said to the point, I said, I would die for you. I would die for you. And now I think I have. Because, I look back at it now and I'm like, well, I could have took the phone from her. But I was like, if you're going to do it, do it. But I had the opportunity to say, I had probably 30 seconds when she was typing to whoever she was typing to, Facebook or whatever, before she called 911. So she wasn't really scared. I'm like, Jen, just let it go. I was kidding. It's no big deal. I think it was a test. I think I was just trying to figure out where she was. And she is part of the system, for sure. So she has some narcissisticness in her, and she's got a lot of. If she had done that to me, I would have been like, "What the fuck is the matter with you?" or said something like that. Unless she was shooting at me, like directly at me, I would never call 911 ever. But that's the difference between most people and me, I guess. And I thought that her and I maybe had reached that connection, because she shot a lot of guns here and she wasn't scared of me. She didn't do it she did it out of some kind of a, like, I'm going to show you. It's really fucked up. So anyways, I went to jail and did all that stuff and out. Now I have to go to court on Thursday. I don't know if I'm going to live that long. I'm probably not going to. Watch the news. We'll see. But so she has a audacity, because of course they throw me an order of protection against me. And she writes me an email Friday. Today is Tuesday. Today's Tuesday. So Friday, she writes me an email. Stating the fact that why'd you do that, and I can't believe this has happened, and the DA is trying to tell me that you choked me, and I told him that you've never touched me, you would never touch me, and they're trying to put all these words in my mouth, and they want me to do this, and of course I can't respond to her because I have an order of protection, but she can write me, I guess. So this is the world for men in America. I guess most men probably wouldn't shoot a 40 caliber in their bedroom, but they're log walls. It's no big deal, guys. I mean, it's no fucking big deal. There's no houses around me. I'm in the middle of nowhere. Maybe it is for you people, you city folk or whatever. Whatever. I just wanted to say this to get it on record, so in case something crazy happens, where I'm not around anymore, at least still be a documentation of it. And I'm sure if Jennifer looks at this, she will agree with it. She will, if she's... When women get pissed off, they can be very vengeful. And I think there was a lot of vengefulness just because, how dare I, after her calling me wanting to fuck little boys, and I must be gay because I didn't want to sleep with her and I didn't argue with her, then I had the audacity to pull off a trigger and shoot one round into the wall. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I think if I did that to her, if I called her all kinds of names like she did, I'd let her get away with pulling. Wouldn't have any problem with her trying to shoot me. I could see the point in it if you had heard what she said. But anyways, Jen, I love you, babe. Whatever. I hope you're gonna be okay without me, because I can't have you anymore. I can't have you in my life anymore. If I have a life left, I don't know. But at least I said this, and it's on record, and it's in a video, and this is not what I intended to do when I came in here, but I'm just feeling like the end is near, and I'm out of time, and I'm not going to jail. Did any of that fucking record? Yeah. And I guess that's it, babe. So thanks for saving me for a year. Gave me a year. But I'm not doing this anymore. I can't go through it again. I can't go through it. So we'll see what happens. So watch your local news. Because I'm pretty much sick of New York State. And that's the other thing. Oh, so here's the topper. And I'll end it with this. So I get back home from fucking jail, right? I told him to leave me there. But my father came and he's like, you can't stay here. So he came and got me. And I get home and I'm going through the fucking house. And there's a Mossberg 590 tactical shotgun, 12-gauge shotgun that was in the bedroom. Gone. There were 7 2010 gold American Eagles in this drawer right here. And the key was in it. This is normally locked, but I was slipping that particular day. It wasn't locked, but the key was sitting in there. And the door was open. There was 7 2010 American Eagle half-ounce gold. There was 7, I think they were 2009, 7 or 8 2009 half-ounce American Eagles. They're fucking gone. Then there was like binoculars missing. There was a couple of silver dollars that are gone. The cops fucking came through and went through this whole fucking house. There are clips gone, which New York State now, I mean, do you realize that Sandy Hook was a complete fabricated situation? So the SAFE Act, New York State SAFE Act, was passed based on Sandy Hook. I mean, New York State is full of evil fucking people. So the SAFE Act made, I mean, anything with over 10 rounds, I think now is considered a felony. So they found one. That's another thing. In one of the bedrooms, they found a clip that had 20 rounds in it. So they gave me a felony, E felony or D felony or whatever. I have to go to court on Thursday. We'll see if I make it there. But there are a lot of things missing. So that's probably, I was looking at the gold prices. It's like 14 grand worth of gold. Now, Jen, I hope you didn't take it because you knew it was there. But, I mean, I don't think they would have let you out of here with the tactical shotgun. So I'm thinking. The other thing is that there was multiple New York State troopers that came here in cars. And there didn't need to be that many because I went outside right away, right when they got here. I went outside with my hands up and they handcuffed me. So then they're sending troopers through the fucking house just because this girl, Jennifer, was in my house. But she was in the kitchen. They had no reason to come in through here. They went through all the fucking bedrooms. They went through everything, every fucking bit of it. So do not trust the cops in New York State. They are criminals with badges. And that is another thing. I mean, the 14 grand, I don't even know where I'm going with that yet. But my lawyer told me I was supposed to call the cops yesterday, and I don't even know who to trust anymore. So I'm losing my fucking mind, kind of. So that's why I want to get this on record. I hope this recorded. I mean, we're almost coming up on an hour now. But at least it's documented because... And then they sent one of the fucking troopers that was here. Her name is Kara. Kara. She looks like... There's no way she passed a fucking physical. I mean, she's got to go 200 pounds. Maybe 140 because she's short. But she is the bitch of a woman, feminist probably bitch, that, that they should have gave me a man to talk to right off because that didn't go well either, which probably she would have let me off on the 20 round clip, which I don't even know where the clip came from. I don't know where the fuck that came from. That could have been planted as well. I mean, they're taking shotguns, taking fucking gold out of my house. I mean, these are fucking criminals in fucking uniform. So do not let fucking cops in your house. And if you have a woman that's going to call the cops, then get rid of her. I mean, that was my mistake. I let her in too many times thinking we had gotten to the point that we were cool. All right, so I tested her a little bit by shooting a 40 cal. But she came into the bedroom. She knew I had it on my chest. She knows I always have a gun on my chest. She could have taken it off my chest. But when she sat up like she was, she's on this side of me, and if she just laid down or maybe rubbed my head, but instead she does this prompt up her head like she's about to say something to me, and I was just like, boom. And then she laid down, and I thought we were cool. And then she thought about it. She's like, oh, I'm going to get him. I'm going to get him. Well, I think in the long run, she probably... They're programmed. The women are programmed. Many women are just programmed to react that way. And, the government is their family. Especially single moms, man. The government is their family. So maybe it was a test just to see how far... maybe I'm just out of time. And I wanted to see... Because I wanted her to feel like she can't fucking disrespect me and call me all kinds of fucking names just because I don't want to have sex with her. That ain't right. I mean, how about if a guy was, because the woman doesn't want to have sex with him, if he starts calling her all kinds of names because he doesn't have because she doesn't want to have sex with him. She could probably call the cops. See, so it's a lose-lose situation for men. You cannot win. It. So don't let women into your house, basically, is what I'm saying. Do not let women into your house. And that's the best advice I can give you. All right. I hope this helps somebody. Thank you.